This is Grow Generation. Here are your price targets for Monday. We ended the week at $2.86, down more than 6%. The day's low, $2.78. The day's high, $3.18. The 1 year price target is $3.69, which represents a 29% return from where we are. Now, to the north side, takes us back to the middle of the trend, and that is $3.03. This is also a potential take profit area. Above that, at 2 standard deviations and resistance, 320. Another level of resistance and potential take profit area, 329. And at 4 standard deviations, where I do not think we will get to on Monday, that would be $3.37. Don't hold your breath. If we're all the way down here at support at -2 standard deviations, the likelihood of us ripping to up here is pretty slim. But should we get to that level, you can expect a sell-off. People will take their profits and they will run. They will lock in and leave. Now, to the south side, we're right here at -2. So at -3 takes us to roughly 278. This is an old buy line of mine, a zone here. Ignore the pink and the green lines. Those are previous buy and sell lines for me. And -4 standard deviations is $2.69. Note we're starting to see a bounce here at support at -3 standard deviations, and then along this area as well, and the sell-off here at resistance and another level of resistance. This is an outlier here and a take profit area, a clear sell signal in this case, and down here, clear buy signals. Can it go down even more if we hit this line? Yes, but there typically will be a bounce as people buy the dip. And this, ignore as well these lines. These are previous, again, support and resistance lines. I could remove them, but I like to see in the past where I've come from and where I could be heading. And this will turn into a potential area that we will possibly retrace to on our way up. We are in an upward channel. Now, the next stock I want to go over is one that I've gone over many times. And this is MSOS. And I actually got stopped out of this. I set a limit and I forgot to go in on Wednesday night and update it. So it got sold off in the pre-hours, pre-trading, and I got out at roughly a 13% return. Previously, I got a 10% there. Where else? I've traded this. Oh, and I have a 60% return here. I should have kept the shares I bought at 622, but that's okay. This is not a hold for me in the sense of long-term like my Apple stock or my Microsoft or my Palantir, although I probably should keep this one or start to buy in at support and then just let it ride. But I've done pretty well with this one for myself and for my mom. Now, let me give you some price targets here. And note my public service announcement. Thank you so much for reading that. Let's make this a little bit larger here. And see, it disappeared on me. Look at this. I move things around and TradingView gets wonky. So let me add something back on, and I've lost one of my lines here too, but no big deal. I don't need it because I can trade without it, although I like to see it. All right, back to 2 standard deviations takes us to roughly 1037. And at 3 standard deviations, that will be 1057. To the south side, 961, 941. And obviously, note the sell-off here at resistance and another level of resistance here. We grind typically at the middle of the trend, and anytime you go outside of that along the lines here in the outer bands, that will be resistance, and the lower bands support. And that is a look at MSOS. I'm going to show you Estee Lauder really quickly. Look at this gap here. I will anticipate a gap to the downside because we gapped up. So we could see somewhere in the outer bands at 161 and possibly 143. We are in an upward channel right now, so this gap, whenever we reverse course, will be a gap to the downside. And my deviations have changed on me, so I will just stop there and fix it. There we go. Goodness. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at MSOS, Estee Lauder, and Grow Generation.